I'm going to say that I have 5 investments to avoid for anyone in the first year or first couple of years of their investments. And I'm not going to rank them in any particular order. I'm just going to say I've got 5. Okay. The first is no one should make a purchase in the public markets of a stock priced below $10 a share as their first investment or first collection of investments. Like, there are companies that can perform very well with a low share price, but in general, that is an indicator of a failing business, right? And that is simultaneously attractive to new investors because they think, I can get so many shares. Do you want 5,000 shares of wallpaper, or do you want 1 share of Berkshire Hathaway, priced in the hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? The total number of shares don't matter. So if I could say to the entire world, when you enter the public markets, you are not allowed to buy any stocks in the first 3 years that are priced below $10 a share, we're going to save literally hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars across the investment landscape for newer investors. The second one would be, you're not allowed to use options. I understand that you think you can take a little bit amount of money and multiply it quickly by utilizing options, but options, first and foremost, are most effectively used by those as a hedge, as an income-generating hedge, not as a go for the gold. They are marketed as go for the gold, and I can't tell you how many people have made their next call in their investment life into the Motley Fool site to say, I just blew a lot of money on options, and I now want to learn, what the hell I'm doing. So if we could get everyone, you can't buy a stock below $10 a share. You cannot use options. That's the first 2. Number 3, you are not allowed to buy any digital assets or cryptocurrency other than Bitcoin, Ethereum, maybe 1 or 2 others. We're going to keep it to a very small list. We're just saying for the first 3 years. After that, go wild out there if you want to, right? But out of the 20,000 some odd, cryptocurrencies, out of all the digital assets that have been created, there is far more fraud, far more self-interest and greed. I have met people that are launching digital assets who, when I ask them what would happen if instead of being able to sell any of those for profit for yourself, that digital creation you have to hold for 5 years, what would happen? And the one story I'm thinking of, a person looked me right in the eye and said, no way in hell I'm selling these things. They're getting their money out with your money coming in. They're not looking to create an expanded, environment, a value for everyone. So again, you don't get any cryptocurrencies other than Bitcoin or Ethereum. I'm just limited to those 2 for the first 3 years. Okay, so you can't buy stocks under $10. You're not allowed to use any options. You can't have any cryptocurrencies other than Bitcoin or Ethereum. Those are the first 3. Number 4, you will not day trade. You will not actively trade anything. Anything you buy, you must hold for at least 12 months. I have to get you in for 12 months. Now, really, if you want to make money, you don't have to read that many books or articles or ask that many questions or watch enough good YouTube videos with proven investors that have succeeded over long periods of time to know, actually, the way I'm going to become a millionaire is by owning things that I want to hold for 5 years. Warren Buffett, turned $10,000, as a teenager into $100 billion, in his lifetime, by essentially saying the best time to sell a stock is never. That's how you're going to make the most money. If you can find Costco early on and just hold it, you're going to become a millionaire. It's day trading Costco. There's just a tragedy of epic proportions. People day trading in and out, the costs, the taxes, and the fact that unless you have an incredible amount of money to build the most high-powered frequency trading system in your home, you're going to be behind others in institutions that are trading faster than you. You are always going to be a loser. So in the first 3 years, can't buy stocks under $10. You can't use options. You can only buy cryptocurrency, Bitcoin or Ethereum. You can't day trade at all. And the 5th one is you have to ask questions. That's it. You have to ask questions. You have to ask a lot of questions and ask a lot of people questions. You have to be curious. You've got to be more curious than you are greedy. And I don't say that condemning anyone. And I'm not calling out the desire to win with your money as greed. No. I'm calling greed the desire to win right now without learning anything. And that is the lottery instinct. That is a tragedy in the U.S. that state governments present the lottery. That is a really bad system that exists. And the lottery is representative of everything you don't want to do if you want to become wealthy. You don't want to win by learning nothing and achieving nothing. You want to win by studying, enjoying exploring the world and finding in your circle of competence. If you're a doctor, and doctors get taken advantage of a lot in financial services throughout history, but if you're a doctor, you have the front row seat to new technologies coming in to your category. So what we want you to do is we want you to be smarter, happier, and richer as an investor. We want you to do that with the Motley Fool, of course. That's our mission. But please, if you're not going to do it with the Motley Fool, please commit to getting smarter, happier, and richer outside of the Motley Fool, right? And the way to do that, in my opinion, is to not have any opportunity in the first 3 years to do any of those 5 things. Can't buy penny stocks, can't day trade, can't have options, can't have a bunch of cryptocurrencies. I could also say you can't go on margin, you can't borrow money, and you can't move forward hoping you're going to win without learning, without asking questions. Put those 5 things together. Literally, I think that little clip, and these are learnings of the Motley Fool. I'm not saying like I am expounding this wisdom to everyone. This is hard-won lessons across the Motley Fool community. Millions and tens of millions of people in the Motley Fool over our 31 years. Those few handful of things, they save billions and billions of dollars of people entering the market. And also, they keep people from abandoning investing because they thought, wow, this is such a crapshoot. I'm never doing this again. What a tragic loss that is for people. So take those handful, put them on your list of I'll never do those, at least for the first 3 years. And I think you're setting yourself up. You've got the foundation to win for the rest of your life. The Motley Fool system, on one hand, is timeless, classic, and espoused by many others. It's a system of long-term, business-focused investment with a good diversification to the portfolio, being tax efficient, not trading a lot, finding great companies and just adding to them over time. That's a system that is familiar, and it's actually the way that the most money has been made in the commercial world and the public markets in the commercial world for quarter centuries. What is unique about the Motley Fool system, distinct, is that we truly are long-term. Remember, as time horizons shorten, you start getting worried about these investments. When people start saying, I doubled my money in 6 weeks and I'm looking for another one just like that, right? And you're seeing deregulation, which will have there will be many good features of deregulation. Let's say on a scale of 1 to 100, we want to move to about a 30 or 40 from if we're in the low single digits. Now, we want more deregulation for small businesses, for housing permits. There are a number of categories where we need to simplify this for people, right? But we probably don't need a lot of deregulation in crypto because out of the 20,000 cryptocurrencies, there are probably only about 50 that really have merit. So if you deregulate too much in that area, you're going to invite a lot of fraud and there will be a lot of pain. There will be a lot of pain for people in that. So I would say the Motley Fool system is interested in all these investment opportunities. I'm a very big proponent of Bitcoin. I'm a long-term believer in Bitcoin. But I think that at the same time, everyone needs to realize that our system is saying we're looking 5 years out. We're not the system that's trying to make the call in the next 6 months. That can happen in financial media elsewhere. That can happen in trading systems and trading sites. Tradings.com, like you can go to those sites for that up to the second stuff. It's not really us. We can't help you in that area, but we do think history shows that systems like ours are where the real money is made over the long term. The most significant mistake that an investor makes is selling a winner too soon. We don't think that because when we look at our portfolio and see a stock that's down 37%, we think that's the worst mistake I've made. I put $4,000 in it and I lost $1,000. I put $40,000 in it and I lost $10,000. I put $400,000 in it and I lost $100,000. No matter where you are on the size of your portfolio, when you see something down 25%, 30, 35%, 40%, you think that's my biggest loser. The biggest loser, though, is the winner you sold too soon. That is the ability to take money, $10,000, and put it into Starbucks and end up with $500,000. That is actually everywhere in front of us in the public markets. Now, I think the markets are richly valued now, so I'm not saying that just be aggressive every single day of your life as an investor. It takes some discipline to think about how you're going to build that portfolio, what time you'll buy what type of stock. But over the very long term, the biggest mistakes you're going to make by far are selling your winners far too soon. And so the Motley Fool has helped our members. Again, we all can still make those mistakes and we'll still make them ahead. No matter how experienced you are, you can make that mistake. But we're there to remind us. We track all of our returns in full view at the Motley Fool. We have for 30 years. All of our wins and losses, all of our 50 baggers and 80% declines that we've had, they're all a matter of public record of the Motley Fool going back decades. And what I can say is when you look at it over the full stretch of your life as an investor, The regrets you're going to have are the ones that you sold too soon. So we're here at the Motley Fool saying, hey, try to put yourself in a position where you never have to sell. So at least you take that out of the game. You have that long-term time horizon, and you're willing to say, you know what? NVIDIA hasn't gone up for 5 years, but I'm going to hold it. So that was true. NVIDIA went through a 5-year period. Apple and Microsoft, two of the largest companies in the world, two of the greatest investments in history, had 10-year periods in the early 2000s, 10 years where they did not gain a dollar for their shareholders over a 10-year period. So, but understand, if you're going to get to a place where your portfolio is turning $5,000 into $25,000, turning $250,000 into $1.5 million, turning $3 million into $11 million, if you're going to be in that game, you're going to have these long holding periods. You're not going to get the big winners unless you're willing to sit and take the pain for a while. And part of that is just we're together as a community at the Fool. We're all fools figuring this out together. We're going to be there with you every step of the way. And I think the number one thing we can say to anyone who's getting started investing or still feeling their way forward in the public markets is you got to get yourself in a position where you don't sell your winners too soon. The S&P 500 is trading near 25 times earnings. The 200-week moving average price of the S&P 500, so the average price over the last 4 years, the price today of the S&P 500 is 25% ahead of that average. That is elevated. U.S. equities as a percentage of the value of all stocks in the world. U.S. stocks as a percentage of all stocks in the world is about 70%, 65%. These are historically high. When you hit historically high valuations at the market level, we have to first remind ourselves there's so many markets inside the U.S., so many different industries. There are hundreds of good stocks to buy right now and own for the next 5 years, but they're probably not the most well-known, actively followed, most richly valued. It's probably where people aren't looking. It's probably small caps. It's probably underfollowed names. It's probably getting stocks outside the U.S. in your portfolio. So I would say current market for me, looking forward, we don't look forward to the Motley Fool a month, or we're not talking about the next 6 months. I'm saying if you're looking for good returns over the next 3 to 5 years that beat the market, I think you need to look where others aren't looking right now, and you need to look for